What if the biggest thing stealing your peace every morning isn't your problems? What if it's something far more subtle? Something hiding in plain sight? A heart being pulled in too many directions at once. And if you stay with me, you'll discover why one simple morning decision can completely change the atmosphere of your entire day. Every morning, before you answer a message, before you check your notifications, before you think about work, bills, responsibilities, or the endless list of things waiting for your attention, a battle is already taking place. Not around you, inside you. Because the first few moments of your day often determine what will lead the rest of it. Will your heart be guided by peace? Or driven by pressure? Will your thoughts be anchored in faith? Or pulled around by fear? Most people never notice this battle. They wake up, grab their phone, start scrolling, start worrying, start planning. And before breakfast, their minds are already exhausted. But here's what many people miss. A scattered morning often creates a scattered day, and a divided heart rarely experiences lasting peace. But what if there was another way? What if you could begin every morning centered, focused, and deeply connected to God? Because that's exactly what we're talking about today. And near the end, we're going to pray a powerful prayer for an undivided heart. A prayer that may completely change the way you begin your mornings. Imagine trying to drive a car while pulling the steering wheel in 10 different directions. Sounds impossible, right? Yet that's exactly how many people live every day. Part of their heart wants God. Part wants approval. Part wants security. Part wants success. Part wants control. And somewhere in the middle, peace gets lost. The danger isn't always obvious. In fact, that's what makes it dangerous. A divided heart doesn't usually announce itself. It hides. It wears respectable clothes. It can sit in church. It can quote scripture. It can pray. Yet still be pulled apart internally. And here's the scary part. The things dividing us are often things that look completely normal. Money, achievements, reputation, productivity, social media, the need to be liked, the fear of falling behind. None of these things may seem dangerous at first, but when they start occupying the center of our attention, they slowly begin taking the place only God was meant to hold. And that's where the struggle begins. But here's the twist. Most people don't lose peace because life gets difficult. They lose peace because their focus gets divided. Have you ever noticed how one negative thought can snowball? You wake up worried about one thing. Then another thought appears. Then another. Then another. Before long, your entire morning feels heavy. And nothing bad has even happened yet. The day is simply following the direction of your attention. King David understood this. That's why he prayed one of the most honest prayers in Scripture. Lord, unite my heart, not strengthen my schedule, not increase my success, not remove every challenge. Unite my heart. Because David knew something we often forget. A strong life starts with a focused heart. Think about a magnifying glass. When sunlight is scattered, it warms. When sunlight is focused, it can ignite fire. The same is true spiritually. A focused heart becomes powerful. A scattered heart becomes exhausted. And this is where many people get trapped. They're trying to live with clarity while feeding confusion. Trying to live with peace while consuming constant noise. Trying to hear God's voice while listening to 100 competing voices. No wonder they feel tired. No wonder they feel overwhelmed. But what happened next changed everything for me. I realized that peace isn't found by controlling everything. Peace is found by surrendering the center. When people hear the word idol, they often picture ancient statues, golden images, stone carvings, ancient temples. But modern idols look different. Much different. Today, an idol can fit in your pocket. It can appear on a screen. It can disguise itself as ambition. It can hide behind busyness. It can even dress itself up as responsibility. And that's why they're so difficult to identify. For some people, productivity becomes an idol. If they're not accomplishing something, they feel worthless. For others, approval becomes an idol. They constantly need validation. Some worship comfort. Others worship success. Others secretly worship control. And here's the uncomfortable question. What occupies your mind when nothing else demands your attention? Because whatever consistently captures your focus eventually shapes your heart. Think about that for a moment. Whatever you stare at long enough starts influencing who you become. That's why some people stay trapped in anxiety. They're feeding anxiety every day. Others stay trapped in comparison. They're feeding comparison every day. Others stay trapped in fear. They're rehearsing fear every day. But here's the good news. What you repeatedly focus on can also be redirected. And that changes everything. A whole heart doesn't mean a perfect heart. Let's clear that up right now. A whole heart still has weaknesses. Still has struggles. Still has questions. Still has difficult days. The difference is this. A whole heart knows where to return. Again. And again. And again. It keeps coming back to God. Imagine a compass. No matter how many times you move it, it keeps pointing north. That's what surrender does. It creates a spiritual compass inside you. The world may pull. Fear may pull. Pressure may pull. Distractions may pull. But your heart keeps returning to the one who anchors it. And this is where many people misunderstand surrender. They think surrender means losing freedom. But the opposite is true. Surrender is how you stop being controlled by everything else. The person who belongs to God is no longer owned by fear. No longer owned by public opinion. No longer owned by endless pressure. No longer owned by constant comparison. Because their heart has found its true center. And when the center is right, everything else starts falling into place. So let me ask you something. What is really sitting at the center of your heart today? Not what you say is there. What's actually there? Is it fear? Control? Money worries? The need for approval? Overthinking? Endless distraction? Because whatever sits at the center determines the direction of everything else. And here's the powerful truth. God isn't asking for one small corner of your life. He's inviting you into something much deeper. A heart that is whole. A heart that is focused. A heart that is surrendered. A heart that isn't being pulled apart by 100 competing demands. Imagine beginning tomorrow morning differently. Before the notifications. Before the emails. Before the pressure. Simply stopping and saying, Lord, gather my heart. 3 simple words. Yet they carry incredible power. Because when God gathers what the world has scattered, everything begins to change. The battle for your day often begins before your feet even touch the floor. That's why the morning matters. Not because mornings are magical, but because attention is powerful. What you focus on grows. What you feed strengthens. What you continually return to shapes who you become. So don't start tomorrow scattered. Don't start divided. Don't start overwhelmed before the day has even begun. Start by turning your attention toward God. Ask Him to unite your heart. Ask Him to simplify your focus. Ask Him to become the center again. Because when your heart belongs fully to God, the noise loses its authority. Fear loses its grip. And peace becomes much easier to find. If this message spoke to you today, type Lord, unite my heart, down in the comments. And if there's something that's been pulling your attention away from God lately, whether it's worry, stress, distraction, overthinking, social media, work pressure, or something else, share it below so our community can pray for you. And if you enjoyed this message, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next message might be exactly what your heart needs to hear. Until next time, stay focused, stay faithful, and remember, a heart fully surrendered to God is a heart that can never truly be divided.